The excitement you feel when you buy your first longarm quilting machine is real, but once that machine arrives in your home, it's easy for excitement to become anxiety. After all, this machine is big, and as thrilled as you are at the prospect of being able to finish your own quilts, where do you even start? My name is Holly at Night of String and Story, and it's my job to guide you to quilt with confidence. Today I'm going to show you how to start longarm quilting without pressure, fear, or perfectionism. Let's get started. As you begin quilting on your longarm quilting machine, I have great news for you. You do not need to be an expert in order to quilt your first, second, or even 10th project on this beautiful machine. In fact, you just need the 4 principles of the Confident FMQ Framework. Action creates confidence, consistency builds competence, done is better than perfect, and community cures fear. These 4 pillars are going to guide us today as I show you how to load and quilt that very first project so that you can begin to feel that confidence and competence building already. The first quilt that you load on your longarm quilting machine is all about a completion grade. We just want to get it done. After all, action creates confidence. As you're getting started, I recommend floating your quilt top if you're going to be hand guiding on your longarm. This is a little bit easier and takes less time than loading both the backing and the top under tension. You can see that floating allows the quilt top to hang free, and thus we can adjust it as we are going down our quilt. I recommend loading something very simple for your first project. You might load a couple of yards of fabric that you feel kind of meh about. You might load an old bed sheet on as a project, or you might load a panel that you picked up on sale or one that you don't feel particularly emotionally attached to. The point here is that I want you to be excited about the process and not overly concerned about the product that you're going to have at the end. The very first time I loaded a quilt on my longarm, I loaded a couple of yards of fabric that I had been gifted from an estate of another quilter. And it was fabric that I liked okay, but didn't feel super attached to. That quilt became a little quilt that lived on our porch with our cat Felicia, and then once she moved inside with us, it became her quilt inside the house. It was loved, it was snuggled, and that quilt has had a beautiful life, but it's also had a simple life. And knowing that it was destined to be loved by a fur baby made it really easy for me to get started just having fun. Now, that very first quilt that you load on, you're going to do some simple things. You're going to practice adjusting your tension, which means that sometimes your tension's not going to be perfect. You might have eyelashes on the back, you might have some thread breaks on the top. All of that is a normal part of the learning process. You don't need to unpick anything on this first quilt. Once you've played around with your tension and got it pretty well balanced, I want you to just doodle. Make some wiggly lines. See if you can do a curly Q. Write your name and just play all the way down your quilt. When you finish quilting that piece of fabric or that panel or that simple quilt top, I want you to be really excited as you unroll that quilt from the frame. Maybe even make a video like this of you actually pulling the quilt off the frame so that you can celebrate the fact that it's a big deal that you finished. Bind and wash that quilt and snuggle it tight because you've officially finished your first project on the longarm. Congratulations again on completing your very first quilt on your longarm. Your action has already begun to grow your confidence as a longarm quilter. Now it's all about using consistency to build your competence. Before too much time goes by, I want you to go ahead and load a second project on your longarm. This could be another big piece of fabric, this could be another bed sheet, this could be a panel. I would encourage you to seriously consider loading a panel or a small quilt top onto your machine this time. Let's make this a project that we're a little bit more invested in finishing so we can take our skills to the next level. On this quilt, you're going to quilt a simple meander. That's just a wiggly line that goes all over the quilt. This is perfect for growing in your ability to control the machine and your ability to adjust your tension and your ability to fill the space in each pass. This time, we are not going to try to sit and finish this quilt all in one session. I want you to practice showing up just a little bit day after day, 15 or 20 minutes at a time, building the habit of spending time with your longarm. That's going to keep all of the principles that you're learning top of mind. It's going to help your body physically develop the muscles and control that it needs. in order to move the machine smoothly, and it's going to help you feel more confident and natural every single time you step up to the machine. Would you look at that? You have already finished 2 quilts on your brand new Longarm quilting machine. Congratulations, Rockstar. Don't worry if these quilts are imperfect. Don't worry if your tension is a little imperfect. Don't worry if your stitches are wobbly. Don't worry if they're uneven. These quilts were all about getting it done and having the satisfaction of proving to that inner mean grump that you can and will finish your own quilts. From here, you can continue to practice, continue to show up, and you will see your skills improve with every single project that you work on. What I want you to remember most of all is that the only real way to ruin your quilt is to leave it unfinished. The whole point of the quilts that we make is for them to be snuggled and loved. You've already brought 2 more finished quilts into the world, and from this point forward, remember, finished is better than perfect, and you are already a quilting rock star. As you continue on your journey, you will find that the final principle of the Confident FMQ framework becomes increasingly important. Community cures fear. Every time we're seeking to improve our skills or level up with a new challenge or learn some new motifs, that inner mean grump loves to get loud again. And having a strong community of quilting rock stars around you is a valuable way to learn new skills, get unstuck when problems arise, and have folks who understand how significant it is every time you make progress or finish a new project. I foster a community like this inside Quilting Rockstar University. Quilting Rockstar University includes all of my digital courses where I teach you all of the ins and outs of long arm quilting, as well as quilting dozens of free motion quilting and ruler quilting motifs, and all the skills you need to decide what to quilt where on your projects. Also inside of Quilting Rockstar University is our incredible Quilting Rockstar community. These are your fellows who are also learning how to finish their quilts with confidence. Some of them are brand new baby beginners, and some of them have been quilting for years and have completed dozens, if not hundreds, of quilts. They would be so eager to welcome you in and cheer for you every step along the way. You can find all the information you need about Crew down in the caption of this video. Speaking of the resources down below, there's a couple of other things I want to make sure that you notice. First of all, I've written up everything that we've talked about today inside a blog. I go into even more detail about how to apply the Confident FMQ framework, and I include handy links to show you step by step how to do things like load your long arm and adjust your tension and stitch that first meander. Right below that, you'll also find a workbook link to our Confident Long Arm Quilting Workbook. This is going to have all of the quick reference resources that you need, not only as you quilt these first 2 quilts, but also as you continue through your long arm quilting journey. And then, of course, as I mentioned, you'll find that link to Quilting Rockstar University. I am so excited for you to be on this long arm quilting journey. You've already done an incredible job quilting those first 2 quilts, and I can't wait to see many more.